Welcome back, everyone. We are here with designer of GMK9s and a bunch of other stuff. You've been a busy man this year, Emir.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How you
I've
doing?
had I think about 5 group buys this year.
Oh,
I've been part of 5. Yeah. I ran 4 trends.
it's been a crazy year. A lot of your stuff is just like straight up fire, though. Like
You
it's
think so?
awesome. Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. I know Chewy and I are both big onto nines. We love nines. Um, I've got it on the Sirius I'm using right now. He's got it on his OSA.
I've
I
got it on
wanted
my.
Firefly. I
Oh
wanted
yeah,
Firefly, but money was not money was not on my side because of the NorCal meetup. Just trying to make sure everything was good for that.
yeah. We'll make sure to get you a Firefly. No worries, man. Just hit me up. We'll sort you out.
Let me know. I once you added that enter, I was like, oh my god, I need that. I love
Which
axe
answer?
keys. So when you added
Oh,
the enter, I was like, oh my god, thank you.
I feel the exact opposite actually, but yeah, we can talk about that. We
Yeah.
have 2 hours, so we can get to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so before we get in, we always do our what we call the fast four. You can
Oh,
gives you an opportunity to talk about some of your favorite things in keyboards. So I guess the first thing would be your top four favorite keyboards. We'll start there.
keyboards that I own. Let's see. Well, depends which day of the week you ask me, or like if you ask me next week, I have like a couple more boards, and it would be different. But as of right now, rest in peace, my Prophet. It's hands down the best board I've typed on. Shout out to Cable Car Designs Max. I think his Discord handle is West Foxtrot. The Prophet is hands down the best board I've ever tried. It has a pin mount. It's just really consistent across. It sounds great. It has a seamless design. Like everything about it is just perfect. And you guys might not know, but I was trying to infill the brass bottom of it, and I messed up like severely. I tried to wipe it off using like bad solvent, I guess, and I removed all the coating. So Jay hit me up like, "Hey, Mir, can you? This is how you do it, but now that you fucked it up, I can sandblast it for you and do it for you." I was like, "Man, that sounds great." So I sent it out to him, and it got lost in shipping. It's been like
Oh no.
3 4 months now. Yeah,
Oh
so
no.
it's a rip in peace, my Prophet. But Max is bringing it back, and I really encourage everyone to keep an eye out for the Prophet when he runs it publicly, because it was only a private run of 10 pieces. So make sure to keep an eye out on the Prophet. Second, I guess Leaf 80. Um, Overall, great. I didn't think it was going to be great, but once I built it and felt it, it sounded great, felt great. I was surprised. Like, I usually don't like aluminum plates or top mount that much, but it was great. And third, man, this is becoming a long four. I think I've opened up to my Alice more now that I look at it. Like, I I really hate the carbon fiber plate in it, but as far as the layout goes, I've gotten along with it now. Like, it took 1 or 2 weeks, just like with the HHKB layout. I really hated it at first, but now it's my favorite layout, and this is starting to become my favorite layout. So just give board some time, guys. Like, don't judge it like at face value or like instantly.
Mhm.
So I would say my Alice, is it worth the price tag on aftermarket? Hell no, hell no. But I was lucky enough to get one, and yeah, it's solid. It's not amazing. It's solid. It's third right now. Fourth, I would say my QXP maybe. Yeah, QXP. I really like how it's um, what is it called? The angle? No,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, the
angle.
angle.
It's like
the
really
ano.
low. No, not anodizing. Like
Oh.
it's really
The
low to
angle.
the
Angle.
point actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
very low.
really yeah. Yeah, I like that about it. So QXP 4. I'm gonna keep the next 4 shorter. I hope.
Oh, you're good. You're good. We got
No
time.
process.
So real quick, I I had a clip playing in the background, and it was me yelling something. And I was like, it just kept playing on repeat over and over and over. And I was like, I just assumed it was Emir listening to something in the background, but it was the same noise over and over. I was like, this guy's got weird taste in music, but whatever. I was like, oh wait, no, that's a clip. That's my bad. So next up, top 4 favorite switches.
Oh man. That I've tried, I mean that I own, I guess. Top 1. Like even though it pains me to say it, like Nixies and Vintage Blacks are top 2. And even though I keep telling myself it's not worth it, like if you want a smooth switch, there are way better alternatives at a way better price without the roulette involved in it, but it's like an addiction. I keep coming back to it. I keep like telling myself, no, I'm done now. I don't want to play the roulette, which refers to like you could buy a whole PCB even with a good date code. Like I only limit myself to A to C date codes of the G80 boards, which means 88 to 91 the year. Even though you like make sure to get a good date board, it's still a roulette, man, and it's not worth it. But like an addiction, I just keep coming back to it. Like a board pops up and I'm just buying it without even thinking. So I would have to say, even though I don't want them to be, like my top 2 are Nixies and Vintage Blacks. Third, even though it might sound biased, but I really think so, Linear.
The switches you made.
No, I ran the
You ran
thread,
them, yeah.
but it was actually a community effort, just like Yugo, GMK Yugo. Like everyone was involved in some way. So even though I ran the thread, I can't really take full credit. Like it was everyone. But yeah, they're really. I was surprised. Like there are even rumors that the nylon housing at the bottoms has some special powder in the composition of the nylon, which is nylon 66. Like they are so good and so smooth stock. I would heavily recommend modding them though. Fully modded, they sound great, they feel great. And for the price, like 35 cents per switch, like you can't beat that. Like Linear, hands down. Third. And fourth, I would have to say Inks. It's a bit of a boring switch. Like I don't feel that it's special in any way. It's just like my solid go-to when I wanna know you know what you get. So Inks for it.
Interesting.
And I just noticed because I can't see you guys, my eyes are like wandering everywhere.
Oh, you're good. You're
It
good.
must look so weird. Like, is he high? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. The next one would be your top 4 favorite key sets, and these are ones that we'll limit it to ones you haven't designed.
Well, I wouldn't put my own sets top 4 anyway. I think, but
You heard it here. This guy hates his own sets.
no, I definitely love them like children. But my top 1, hands down, this is the greatest set to ever grace like our existence. We should all like imagine being born in this era where this key set ran. Like I'm feeling blessed, and it's gonna be Hunterbite. I think is Huntarbite. I think the German word is. I know the D is like T, so Hunterbite. Yeah, it's definitely hands down the best set, and I know there's a lot of haters out there. and they're just like sheep in the Valley of Darkness, and we need a shepherd to just like bring them in because they don't know what they're missing out on. But one day they're gonna understand. One day. Second, well, I can just show it. I think you can see that.
Yeah.
Miami Nights. Great clean set. It has some pop in, like when you use the yellow accents. I think it's like just perfect. Without the yellow accents, it looks a bit dull. But with that, it's like almost endgame. If Hunter Bite didn't exist, then Miami Nights would be my hands down favorite set. Second, well, I can show that too, I guess. Skidata.
Skidata. I've got some.
Well, I can't see, but I'm sure you're showing it. Perhaps.
I've got some Skidata caps somewhere. I don't know where they are right now.
He got the
space
bar for 9s.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! I don't know how I missed out on that. I got the Skirara Relegendables, the blank ones, but I fucked up and didn't get space. Can I swear, by the way?
You're good.
I will try to.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm trying to hunt one down right now because my friend Cone, I think his name is. He showed me off his Black Alice with like 9s and the Skidata space bars. I'm like, I want that. So I will have to make sure to hunt down those. Fourth, maybe a tie between Demonic and Signal. I can't really pick one. Like it depends on the board. Yeah, top 5. Sorry to break the.
No, you're good. I can't remember who it was, but there was someone that had like 8 top boards.
Yeah. These are my
8?
top 8.
Yeah, it was like these are my top 4, but I'm gonna do 8. It might have been. I think it might have been Mr. Keebs. Granted, he has like everything.
Well, I'm behind that. Can we just like name everything we like? Why didn't we pick 4?
Welcome to our stream where we interview Emir, and he just tells you for 2 hours things that he likes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then last but not least, and these are always exciting with people who do not live in the states, is what are your top 4 favorite foods?
Oh, I don't know the name. There is this type of steak that we have in Sweden. Actually, is sirloin? Sirloin?
Sirloin.
Yeah, that steak, like it's probably my favorite food. I love that. Going out to restaurants and eating it. I can't cook at all, so I can't really make it myself. Like just go out and buy steaks, but sirloin steak up there. Every time I'm in Japan, I really love yakiniku.
I have no idea what that is, but all right.
Like it's like I don't even know if it's Japanese. It might be Korean, but it's basically like you go to a Japanese restaurant and they have like in each table there's a built-in like a grill, and then you just order raw meat in and you just grill it yourself and eat there, and you can like order different kinds of meat, steak and stuff, and it's really great.
Like a Japanese version of Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said I think it's Korean originally, but yeah, they made it their own thing, I guess. It's great. Whenever I'm in Japan, I make sure to eat that a couple of times. Third, hamburgers. Yeah, just a good cheeseburger. Like I'm a really simple man. I don't need much. Just give me some cheese on it, bit of ketchup, some dressing, and good to go. Like I don't need pickles, and I need like bacon wrapped, like all these types of things. Like I see when I just Google like American burger places. Like it's way too much. I'm just a simple man, so
keep it fresh, keep
fourth,
it simple.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said just keep it fresh, keep it simple.
Oh yeah, and that ties into my fourth, which is hot dogs actually. Like just a bun, dog.
This is the most American sounding top 4 for someone who lives in Sweden.
Yeah, right.
But you know, you have to keep in mind Sweden doesn't really have Like, it's not much Swedish food. You have meatballs and potatoes, and that's like about it. We don't really have our own cuisine, if you will.
Although Swedish meatballs are delicious.
Oh hell yeah!
Swedish
Not top
meatballs are
4
awesome.
though. Not top 4 worry.
Yeah, hot dogs. That's an interesting one. What do you like on your hot dog? Are you mustard ketchup guy? Do you like sauerkraut?
No, just ketchup. Like just like with the burger, just keep it simple: bun, dog, and some ketchup. And I like eat like 8 of them. Grilled, cooked, doesn't matter.
Interesting. Do you venture into different, like, I don't know what you have in Sweden, but like different bratwurst stuff?
Well, not as far as just eating it in a bun goes. If I'm like using it in different dishes, then yeah, like you would get something like I don't know if it's the same in English, chorizo,
Okay,
chorizo.
yeah,
Chorizo, yeah.
Oh yeah, like stuff like that. Yeah, sure, but not like just in a bun, like the simple traditional hot dog. But
Mhm.
if I'm eating the dog by itself, then sure, I would try out some different ones.
My favorite hot dog was the hot dogs my high school had during. They would make them at like noon, and then they would just wrap them up in foil and steam them for like 8 hours.
Steam them?
And then
Oh,
they were $2, and I would buy like 6 of them. And I don't know. I think it was just because the bun was steamed, so it was just this congealed like mess, and I just ate it straight. But I usually like bratwurst more than hot dogs. So
I feel like hot dog is the thing to example for an American food that is as fancy as you make it, right? Like you can go anything from like the 50-cent hot dog that you get at like the ballpark or something, or like on the street in New York.
street dogs.
And then you can go all the way up to like something like Doghouse, where we went a couple of weeks ago before the Dallas meetup. And you can get like all this crazy stuff on it, different like fancy chilies made with Wagyu beef, and you can get as fancy as you want with. So it's definitely it's an interesting food.
Yeah, Doghouse. Shout out. I don't know if he's in here. He was earlier, but Bruiser. Shout out to Bruiser for introducing at least me. I'd never even heard of Doghouse. So it was delicious.
Absolutely.
We'll
So
make sure to try that out.
yeah, well, next time you're in America, come.
Next time you're in Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Next
is
time
it,
you're just casually strolling through Dallas.
It's
Is
not
it a Dallas only thing?
I don't think so. I think it's a chain. It's like a pretty decent sized chain.
Let me look it up.
But
Because I'm going to CES in Vegas. Perhaps I could see if I could find that doghouse in Vegas.
maybe. So yeah, I guess kind of getting back into the keyboard realm. How did you get started in mechanical keyboards? Like where did your journey begin?
I'm actually quite new. I would say last year, February. My colleague at my like day job, he's also author for the biggest tech reviewing site in Sweden, and he did mice at the time and laptops. So he approached me like, man, we need someone to write about keyboards. Like, do you know anything about keyboards? I'm like no. Like I had a mechanical keyboard, like some no brand, just like I wasn't into the hobby. I didn't really care about the accessory at all. Well, peripheral accessory,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, same thing.
So I was like, okay, but give me some time. I'm gonna research it, see if it's something for me, and I'll hit you back up. And so I started. Actually, the first place I went was 4chan, the technology board, and they have a mechanical keyboard general. So I started like reading it daily, catching up. Don't do that if you want keyboard knowledge. Like, don't do that. Eventually, I found Geek Hack, and I just started reading, like just reading. I didn't own any boards. And then I was like, okay, but once I felt comfortable with it, I asked him to send me a review sample without promising the manufacturer like that we would do something with the sample, just like as a demo thing. So I wrote up a piece. They really liked it, and from there on, I just went deeper and deeper. So it actually just started by a colleague asking me if I want to review keyboards. So that's what I do, like as my part-time job now.
There you
For
go.
the Nordic Hardware is the site in Sweden. It's quite big in the Nordics.
It's awesome. And it does look like there is a doghouse.
Doghouse in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bantership put the here I'll put the address in our little Discord chat so you can save that for your
Man,
CBS trip later.
I already entered it into Google Maps and pinned it.
Dude, it's I'm not gonna lie, it's good, but it's a little overwhelming when you first go because the menu is so big. They have so many different options. So maybe take a look at the menu.
Me. I was in this hot dog place in Japan actually. Akihabara, they have this like famous hot dog place. Everything is super expensive, like $15 for just a hot dog, and that it was exactly the same, like all these strange types of hot dogs. But it was really good actually. So I will just probably pick something at random that sounds a bit familiar and just rock with it. And if it's bad, I'll just come back like some other day and try a different one, I guess.
They're good. They serve it on King's Hawaiian rolls.
Yes,
which is different. It's interesting. A little bit of sweetness there. It's nice.
But yeah, so moving in, GMK nines, obviously one of the first sets that you've worked on. Got the name Emir smeared everywhere. So in a good way. Very, very basic set. Obviously, I remember, it was not when the interest check came out. It was just N9 U9, I believe.
Oh yeah.
I remember Osiris actually hit me up and was like, "Oh hey, like look at this set. It's pretty solid, and it
actually
it's so it's like so clean."
One sec, can you hear my washing machine?
No.
I could go and close the door. Okay, great.
No,
sorry. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
And so, in a world of that was run in what, April? Was that during the big month? I say big month. No, that'd be a light month.
Yeah.
Of GMK sets. But it was very simplistic compared to everything else. So maybe just talk about how you started with nines and what you kind of wanted to achieve with it.
Well, the thing about April, just a side note before I start talking about it, April was probably the first month that got this whole GMK bubble started. It was the first month where we had like a bunch of sets and everyone was like, oh my god, what's happening, so basically GMK nines is probably like my 20th colorway I worked on. I was actually working on a lot of colorways, and I always liked N9. People who know me know that N9 is my favorite GMK stock color. So I was working on a bunch of things using N9. Also Cytex. I don't know if you guys seen my IC for Cytex.
Yeah, I have.
GMK site. Yeah. Basically, that was before nines, but I was also working on a couple of custom colors, not Firefly, but a couple of others. But I didn't really feel comfortable running a custom color set yet because, like, I didn't know anything about the whole process. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep the stock colors. 150 MOQ should be possible. And then drop ran the GMK Carbon round 2 with the Boneyard Alphas. I was like, oh my god, that's insane. Like, I really love the Carbon Boneyard. So I basically already had mocked up something similar with N9, and it was a similar color to the beige of U9, but not exactly it. So I was like, okay, it was a custom color with N9.
Mm-hmm.
So it was similar, but I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to keep it stock colors. So I just basically Control A to select everything and just like pasted U9 everywhere. I was like, okay, this is it. Just like that. So the first thing I did was make sure I'm like, well, this is an obvious ripoff. Like I can't even say that I designed this. I just like saw this, took a similar color. So I was like, hey, Tombury, are you cool with this? And he's like, yeah, man, sure. So that's how it basically came to be. But it's not one of the first ones I was working on, and the way it came about is more like an accident, I would say. And I was just working in KLE at the time. But then there was a Norwegian guy in the Swedish Discord. He was like, yeah, hey man, I will render that for you. Just see how it looks. And yeah, I was sold. I even prefer it over Boneyard. No offense, Tom Brady. I was surprised when I saw it in real life. It came out way better than I anticipated, actually.
Yeah, I think that's the case for a lot of people. I think it had obviously a lot of hype when it was out in April. But even when it started shipping a couple months ago, I think people were really surprised. There are some people that are like, oh, it doesn't look like it did in the renders, but everyone's like, it looks just a little bit different, but it's in a good way. It's not like it looks different at all in a bad way. But I love it. It's currently my favorite set that I own. And
it's a bit strange. I've also like, because I had both what's his name, Oblotsky, I think it's pronounced Oblotsky, and Janglad both render it, and their renders looked way different. But I know both of them have the GMK colorings available, and both of them try to keep it neutral lighting in their render. So basically, they looked very different. So when I got nines, I had it in one light, and it was like warm, like the lighting I mean now, and it just looked just like Oblotsky's renders. Then I got to my office where I have colder light and looked just like Janglad's renders. So I would, in my opinion, it looks like both renders actually. In my opinion, just depends on the lighting, and that's why with Firefly I made sure that we render it in like multiple lighting sources, different sources, just to cover everything. Well, not everything obviously, but just like it might look like this in this type of setting.
Yeah, I actually had a pretty similar situation where I put it on my. So I brought my OSA to a meetup. I was meeting up with Osiris, and he had my set of GMK9s, and I put it on the board, and there was all this fluorescent lighting, and it was just reflecting every bit of light off of the anodization. I put it on, and I was like, it looks good, but I'm a little annoyed because the contrast is so intense right now with how dark nines is versus how bright this board is. And then I brought it home, and it was in a lot darker lighting, and I was like, this looks amazing. At certain angles, it looks kind of goofy, and at certain angles, it looks perfect. So I really like the set. It's a fantastic set.
I think the biggest problem is that probably scared off a lot of people was that it's really difficult to capture on camera, like accurately. Like it just looks like, I've seen it look like WS1, the white, and I've seen it look like just way off, and like pictures starting hitting my Discord, they started hitting Geek Hack when it shipped, and I'm like, oh my god, I hope no one like takes this at face value. But it also made me realize that like when different sets ships, people are so quick to judge and be like, oh, that looks nothing like the renders. I'm like we don't know how he took that picture. We don't know what kind of lighting. Like just wait until you get your own set and like judge for yourself. Or like even going to a meetup, just like you mentioned, like the last meetup in Sweden, like Stockholm, it was I think like a month ago or something like that, and Nines looked horrible. Like it had like those I don't know what they're called, but the long oh my god, like the long pipes. I don't know what it's called, but the lighting was awful and Nines looked horrible. So I was like
fluorescent
Fluorescent
embarrassed.
lights.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. GMK Nines and fluorescent will never be a good combo.
Horrible.
It makes the legends look white. It makes them, you don't see that subtle off whiteness, and I think that's the reason why GMK Nines
And it
look so different. Yeah,
reflects all the light
Yeah.
off of the any metal board. It will just reflect all that light and make every board look lighter than it is too.
Yeah, like I would say it looked like gray. Like Nines isn't gray, like. But I also like I messed up. Like as soon as I saw that, I should have thought twice about this. But I also brought the Firefly roll samples, like the plastic samples and the design chips. And man, that was a bad idea. People are like, "Well, I was kind of interested in Firefly, but after seeing this, like, I'm like, no, please, don't judge it like at the meetup. Like that was done by me. But I still wanted people to see it. Like you could still go outside with the samples if you wanted to see it, like in more neutral setting. But I don't think anyone did, so I probably cost myself a couple of purchases by doing that. But yeah, it was fun anyway.
yeah, absolutely. And then I want to hear about your renders, because I've seen some of your renders, and you do like some of the most intense renders. Like you have so much on there. Like you've got rendered people, like full desks, like different like
Yeah.
effects. Like it's awesome. What made you decide to want to start looking to get those out?
Actually, this funny thing about that, the guy who renders it, his name is Max Surfy, and he's actually a professional. Like he does that for a living. So I could just throw anything at him, like, "Hey man, I would like a fire truck with like two hoses and water spraying down so it looks like raining, and like I want this." And he was like, "Okay, sure, man." Like he can do anything. He's so talented, and he actually does it for a living. But actually, funny story how it began, because Nines had Oblotsky and Janglad, also two very talented people. I know Janglad does some scenes too, and they look phenomenal as well. But basically, before Nines, before anything, like just when I started designing colorways, he was in the Swedish Discord and he was designing a board actually. And I was like, "Hey man," or I don't know if he approached me or I approached him. Like it was just in the public Discord, the Swedish Discord, and I was like, "Hey man, could you let me know how these colors would look on that board?" And it wasn't like GMK profile, GMK legends, or anything like that. But he's like, "Yeah, sure." So he rendered them on like a different colorway that I was working on, and I was like, "Yeah, man, looks great." And then we kept it at that. I think he went silent, or I don't know. I was banned for a time from the Swedish Discord, so I didn't really keep in contact with him. But then I came back and he was around and he was talking. I think he was talking about that he did every GMK cap and legend by hand. Like he was doing them from scratch. Like I know some render, like I think every single guy who renders GMK today, besides McSurfy, has used some form of resource, either from Heinebusch GitHub, where he has the legends and the caps, or something along those lines. And they all keep to that, but he took no shortcuts. He sat down, I think he told me like 18 hours just making every legend perfect, like went legend from legend to legend and just made them all perfect, just like GMK, using references. He made every cap, every profile, every row, everything was perfect. So I was like, damn, like I need you to do some renders for me. And by that time I didn't know that he was actually a professional. Like I saw his renders, they looked great, but he didn't really do like the first render he did for me, it had no scene. Like it was just like, you know, the type of plain background, stuff like that. So he really blew me away when he started. Like I think the first thing we did together was the black and white icon mod kit that I ran. And I started throwing suggestions out there. He's like, yeah, sure, man. And all came out great. And I think if you start by that group by thread and then you just look each consecutive group by thread, you just see how the level is like risen every time. It's just like better and better and better. And yeah, I think he's super talented. Like it was just luck that I came across him, and that specific day I saw him post that he was doing the legend. I was like, hey man, are you working on some key sets or why are you doing this? He's like, for fun, you know. So I was like, damn. And actually I have to credit him for a lot more than just renders, you know. Just talking to him, he has a eye for details. He's like, he understands the way you think. And I've spoken to other people who've used him as well, and they all agree, like you can have a base idea of something you want or how you want something to look, and he will immediately understand and then expand on it, just make it better. And I'm like, oh my god, I recommend everyone to use him. I know he's been off and on. He's like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And then like, okay, one more. No, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, but one more set, you know? So if you're lucky, you can catch him in when he's in a good mood, and you can get some fantastic renders. You know, I credit a lot to him. And also, like, if you want to brainstorm your colorways, just show it to him. He's gonna point out what he thinks, and you can like, yeah, man, you can discuss back and forward. He has a great eye for detail. He's super talented. Yeah, and super funny guy too. Like he will make you laugh just talking to him, and he's great.
Yeah, a lot of the like your Firefly renders, some of them I'm like, is this actually just a picture? Like, is this real? So yeah, his stuff's kind of
Oh yeah,
insane.
about the Firefly ones, like you might look at them and think like, yeah, sure, cool. Did you just take like a stock nature image and just paste a border over it? No, he did every single flower in that, every single strain of grass is an object. He rendered everything, and he was building every scene from scratch. So it's a lot of time invested into those nature scenes and office scenes, of course. But those nature scenes are insane. Like everything that you see is an individual object. Like it's not like some stock image where you just render on the boards. Like he really put a lot of effort and time into that, and then he was working just like making each individual firefly. I don't know if you remember the renders, but they have fireflies in them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
man,
why I brought it
I'm
up. It was nuts.
fangirling over here.
Yeah,
Fangirling over here.
they're nuts. They're crazy renders, and it's really cool to see
Yeah.
because I think with the community as strong it is, especially in keycaps right now, things like those renders like that are bringing things to a different level. Like it's a little touch. Like that's the thing where we innovate is the little touches. It's more professional. So yeah, they're insane.
Yeah, and I also still wanna like shout out to every other person who renders. Like I felt like everyone has their own style. Like Max Surfy will do these crazy scenes, and for me that's ideal. I really love that, but I still think like ABAC has stepped up and started offering renders. Janglad is doing great renders always. He also makes scenes and they look great. Oblotsky is still in the game, like old school, you know. He's
Classic.
doing his own thing. Zambomon doing his own. Like ideally, I would just like to know how to make my own. Like I don't want to have to reach out to someone to make them, but when you have such talent like right next to you, like it would be dumb not to take advantage. I mean, not take advantage of them, but of the situation, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely give a quick shout out to our boy Metallic Charles.
Charles.
He's been killing it. I don't know if you've seen any of his renders, but he did the renders for GMK Ashes, which
Oh
is
yeah, hell yeah,
Tyson's set, and then he
Great.
did renders for the SP-111, which is designed by our buddy Blind Assassin. his renders are getting insane. I know he's got a crazy computer.
GMK Sloth as well.
And Sloth as well. Yeah.
Oh, Slot? Yeah, I've seen that as well. Yeah.
Real quick, we're gonna just a quick pause. I have to give a shout out to my wife. Are we able to change it to
Yeah, we can show that real quick.
show off? So my wife brought us a dope as fuck charcuterie board. Charcuterie boards. Look at this. Sorry, Emir. This is we gotta eat during 24 hours, right?
Don't worry about it.
Little delivery of
Triscuits, fresh mozz, two different cheddars.
Oh damn! I can see it on the stream.
Homemade, what's it called? Tapenade. Homemade pesto. Like, oof.
Definitely, it's
Rick said on the way. Yeah,
yeah. It's definitely good. We'll take it back to the interview though. Get Emir back. Yeah.
Shout out to my wife who is providing all of the food.
Yeah.
That we consume today.
Sponsored by Doodle Bob.
If you want to donate specifically to Doodle Bob for these awesome foods, maybe we can even figure out a way to give you some. But throw some donations for Doodle Bob for all the hard work she's putting in today.
And sorry for the echo there. We have our build microphone is on that scene, so sorry about that small echo. But yeah. So Yugo.
Oh, Yugo.
What's your thoughts? I know this is an interesting topic right now because it's maybe not as successful as you'd hoped. As successful as the community has hoped. But I did have one question. One, can you tell us a little bit about it? And then two, tell us about why the kits are the way they are.
Okay, so the way it came about was basically the creations. There were like 4 people or something like that. They had their own Discord server, but me and Konstantin, I think his name is, I forgot, the guy who ran the thread anyway. Me and him talk a lot on Discord, like in my keyboard Discord and like Top Clack or wherever, like we find each other. I was like, man, it would be great if there was like a community for us, like the Yugo countries. And he's like, yeah, man, I've been thinking about that, and I could even invite over my friends. And then Audio Slave just popped out of nowhere, like, yeah, we Croatians have one. We can just convert it into a big Yugo one instead of just a Croatian one. We're only like 4 people, so I'm like, yeah, man, sounds great. So we hopped on there and we were discussing. Like, it was really active. We were like 8 people strong, but I can barely understand what's being written or spoken. But yeah, I was hanging in there. Well, for you that might not know, my parents emigrated from Bosnia to Sweden like before I was born. So I have roots in Bosnia. Like, I can speak the language, type, kind of. But yeah, I was struggling a bit. Like, it was rusty. I basically only speak Swedish. I never speak Bosnian, so I was struggling. But yeah, 8 people deep, we were active, and one day we just started talking about GMK key sets. Like, Nines was out. I was working on Firefly. I was showing them stuff like that, and someone came with an idea. Man, it would be cool to have like GMK Tesla. I think it was Konstantin's idea. We were like, hell yeah, we can make it our own thing. Like, Linear was the Swedish community thing. So we just started brainstorming ideas, like themes. And I made, oh man, so many colorways. And we were like, okay, yeah, that looks great, actually, but it didn't have the pop, like it didn't have that one special detail to make it, into exactly what we wanted. So one day someone like changed the Discord profile image, avatar of the server, like, the circle thing, into a Yugo car. And then like a light bulb came, like turned on, and we're like, damn.
Which is widely regarded as the worst car in history.
Oh hell yeah! If you've been in one, I feel sorry for you. Yeah, so basically, okay, GMK Yugo. So then we had a reference image because the one we have as the avatar is black, I think. Yeah, black. And then someone linked like a sun faded yellow one. So I'm like, damn. And it was the sports model. And fun fact, if you don't know this, to my knowledge, the difference between the sport model and the normal model is just the 3 stripes across the side. Nothing else. Like the specifications, the same engine, same everything, but the sports model just has stripes on it.
Stripes make you go faster.
Yeah,
Like brain
Like
dead.
spoilers.
yeah, you just need spoilers, flames, and stripes, man. So I'm like, okay, yeah, man, we got 4 solid colors here. Let's see what we can cook up. So everyone was basically started like brainstorming colorways, and then I came up with basically what you see today, and we were all behind it. We fine-tuned it, picked out the raw colors for it, and by that time we didn't discuss the kits at all. So we just had the colorway. We all felt like, yeah, okay, we like this. Like it has that classic feel to it. Like it doesn't stand out too much, but you can still like sense some character in it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, yeah.
How many
And
horsepower per stripe?
Yeah, right.
if only. So basically, I had, I would say, the colorway was done. I think I made the base colorway, and then we all fine-tuned it together once we liked it. And I had nothing to do with the kits. I was around, I was giving input, but I think the brain behind all the kits is Konstantin, actually. Like we had so much fun talking about the kits. First of all, we were like, okay, well, I wasn't salty because I use ANSI daily, so I didn't really mind or care. But they were like, nah, if there's ever gonna be Yugo Legends in a set, it's gonna be like now. Like this is our opportunity. It might never come around again, you know. So we made the whole base. Like some of the Yugo guys, they actually had G80 Hey sets, which is the Yugo layout.
Mm-hmm.
We used that as a reference and made a base kit, and then just like ideas come like this, like from different angles. So someone said like, okay, we need the stripes on the space bars, you know. Okay, we made that. Someone came with the idea, well, we need a Cyrillics, you know. Okay, we made that. Actually, big shout out to Tombury. He's the one who actually made the Cyrillic legends for us, because it's not just normal Russian Cyrillics. It's actually the Serbian, I think, Cyrillics. I don't know. I'm no expert, but big shout out to Tombury for sitting through it with us. Then someone decided, I was really for it. I was like, okay, let's just remove ANSI completely. So we did that for a while, and then we were like, well, let's give them physical ANSI, just like they give us physical ISO, you know? So
Yeah.
then we just added the physical ANSI, and we ran the IC at that point, and then a lot of good suggestions came in. So we made some more fine-tunement, but basically the way it came about was just like, well, we were like 6-7 people strong, including Max Surfy. He also had great input on the scenes. Oh my god, we gotta talk about the desk mat soon, but
It's awesome. It's an awesome desk.
Yeah, like the ideas just came from everyone just pitches in. But basically the big problem, and we had this with Linear, like when you have this many people and this many people that have inferior taste, of course, obviously my taste is the correct one. Oh man, it was such a headache. Like at one point I even left. Like I'm like, I don't want to have anything to do with this. And that was when we changed the icon mods to be centered. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to associate myself with this, you know. It became an abomination in my eyes. I'm like, oh well, I'm not part of this anymore. But then they changed it back, and I came back, and we finished strongly, went into group buy. But man, don't do a community project, man. It's not worth the brain cells you lose, man. And no offense to anyone, just like having 8, 7, whatever strong-willed people, and everyone wants their own thing, man. It all
Too many
came
cooks
down
in the kitchen.
exactly. It's for linear, like a Switch. There's only so much you can do, but like a set, you have all the kits, all the colors, all the. Oh my god, man.
Everyone wants their specific thing.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, exactly. So the way we did it was it came down to votes. By some miracle, I had I had my preferences come through one way or the other. I think I was just good at like
you're very persuasive.
yeah, exactly. I was just doing a good way, persuading them into superior taste. But basically, everything came out the way I wanted it. Almost like I was willing to compromise on some things, like the kids. Like I hate artisans. They wanted one. I'm like, okay, sure. Like I'm willing to compromise on things that aren't the important things, like icon mods. I'm not gonna compromise on icon mods. And oh man, so many people hate me for that. Like
my favorite
it's
comment that I've seen from you on Geek Hack was the other day, Olivia interest check, and you're just like, so this means we can't have icon mods ever?
Man, Zamboman, he's out to get me, man. He's basically for text plus icons what I am for icon mods, like just so hardcore about it, you know. And so many people are tired of me, like, but you know, the way I see it is you should, well, not that my opinion or my voice weighs more than anyone else, but when I come into a thread and I'm like, damn, this looks great, any icon mods available, you know, it's like it's because I like the set. I'm really into it and I really want to get it. But if it doesn't have icon mods like the traditional style, I can't buy it. Like I have a self-imposed rule that I will only buy traditional icon mod sets. So I'm really bummed out, you know, and that's why I really try to push for it. Like when I really like a set, and it goes to the point of being annoying. Like I get that. It's just like when you're passionate and opinionated, like it's a double-edged sword, you know.
I think icon
But
mods they do a great job of making a set that like nines, for instance, that's like basically one color all across the board. It does a great job of breaking that up and making it look different. It's not a static design all the way across.
well, basically the way I see it is, if you have a really busy colorway, then icon mods breaks it down and like tones it down where it's like more easy on the eyes, and it just mends well together with that. And also, if you have a simple set, it just goes perfect with it. So like no one can bring me an argument where icon mods aren't the best choice. Like no one is gonna be able to convince me ever. So
yeah, I'm with drifting bunnies in the chat. I like icon plus text, but you know, I'm not going to try to convince you because this entire hobby is built around preference.
Exactly. And
sadly, some people, you know, you've touched on it, but some people don't always get that just because someone has a preference does not mean that you are telling them they are wrong. So,
Yeah,
except for
exactly.
65%, exactly. then you are just wrong.
Oh yeah, well, I think I've never tried 65%, but I have 2 boards. Hopefully coming in soon. I can see my bro Otani Shock, I think is how it's pronounced. He's hooking me up with a 65%, and then I have hopefully another good 65% coming in. So I don't know if it's good or not. I might join the choir of Chewy over here and hate on it, and or I might love it. Like I never use those keys, but
we need to get that as a shirt.
The choir of Chewy.
choir of Chewy.
We've had quite a few shirt ideas come out of different interview
so we've got Rick just said one of his remember kids opinions could be wrong. I've got
I'm in an open relationship with my keyboard.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember that one.
Choir of Chewy.
Yeah.
Did we? I forgot what we were talking about. Something about Hugo,
Hmm.
I think. Like I'm good at going off topic, like derailing the conversation. But you had two questions. I probably answered the first one. What was the second one?
It was about why the kits were, which you did answer, why the kits were split up
Yeah.
the way they are, because it's a very unique split.
Mm.
It's definitely interesting, and I don't know if it necessarily has. I'm sure it does have reason for that's why it's doing the way it is. I'm hoping that people get in on it and that it makes MOQ. It's just such a weird time.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the fact that we have 15 key sets? 15 key sets running this month, and it looks like some of them might not hit.
Well, before we get into that, I was just gonna give you my thoughts on the sales situation of Hugo. I think it's a given that it looks the way it does because, as you said, we have so many key sets running, and this one runs well into December, like December 16th. And that's just what happens when you have a community deciding. There was a vote. How long is the group buy gonna be? Okay, well, a month and a half. And I was like, well, guys, there's a reason no one does this for a month and a half because, you know, if it was a good thing, I think we would see more of it. I think it's better to run it for 1 month because the way it is now is that a lot of people expressed interest in Yugo. Like a lot of people are saying, like, oh, I'm gonna buy this, but no one's buying it. And why is that? Well, I think most people are just like waiting until December. Like, why would you get it now? You could wait until your next paycheck. You could prioritize that money into something that's limited to only this month. So basically, it's oh, sorry, I got the microphone. Did you?
No, you're good.
So yeah, I think that what we're seeing is normal. I still think a lot of people care about Yugo. We're not doing the best job promoting it. I think that's on us. Not enough Reddit posts. We're not engaging enough in the group buy thread. We're not doing the things we should be doing. But I still think it's gonna make it. Perhaps not every kit, but I think we're gonna see Yugo pick up in December. Basically, if it was up to me solely, I would run it this month. But keeping in mind that if it's looking bad, then why not just extend it those 2 weeks after like the original date is up?
Right.
Like why just give it like 6 months right off the bat? No, not 6 months, 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah.
Right off the bat. Like it well, as I said, that's what happens when you have so many people, opinionated people, like deciding by voting and stuff. So it's not a great situation. I think it's gonna pick up. I know a lot of people that I know are waiting to pick it up, like in December. Like basically everyone I talk to, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get it next paycheck. This month I'm getting whichever set is running, you know.
Yeah, one of the other ones.
It's not. I'm not worried yet.
Mhm.
I still think it's good. It has a place in the consumer market. Not consumer market, but it has it's something special about it, you know. Like I'm not as invested in it as my own sets, but I still feel like it's a strong set, and I believe it will do good when push comes to shove, like when we start closing in on the end date. And it's kind of funny, like we've had 3 updates, I think, on the sales, and each time it's doubled.
It doubles, yeah. I've noticed that.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard of the chess story, like where I don't know, inventor or something asks for like a grain of rice on each square of the checkerboard, and each should double. And the king of the like kingdom of the time agrees to it, not realizing that by 64 squares, doubling each square, it's gonna be
an ass load of rice.
yeah. So I think if it continues like this, we have nothing to worry about. But of course, it won't. But yeah, fun little thing. As for what we're seeing with the GMK bubble, I guess you could call it, is that, yeah, funny enough, it started with nines, I would say.
Yeah, back
That
in
was
April.
the first month we saw. I can't remember exactly. I think 12 sets in total of April. Not all were GMK. Like,
Yeah, 8 were GMK.
yeah, something like that. And everything made it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, wait, what? Like, sets have been struggling like January, February. Like, we didn't see this like straight out every set making it, and not only making it, like crushing it. Like, we had that month, we had Mizu like closing in on 1K. I think final tally was something like 870, I think, if I remember correctly. And we were seeing like what's happening here? And then people started speculating, well, we have an influx of a lot of new people. People started making graphs of how the Reddit mechanical keyboards board, I guess it's called a board on Reddit, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
subreddit it's called, was like doubling since a year ago. And we started seeing like, okay, well, damn, okay, so now everyone wants to make a GMK set. And I think, honestly, as to why we're seeing so many sets, like if I'm to be honest, I think people are realizing how much money there is to make. Some might, I'm not like labeling everyone like this is the reason you're making key sets, of course not, but I think money is a big part of it. It's an expensive hobby. You can make a lot of money making GMK sets.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, I'm not gonna say here like that, oh, I don't need money, I'm just doing it because I want to. Even though that is the main reason for me. Like, Yugo, no one is making a dime of Yugo, and I invested so much time into that. So obviously there's more than money for a lot of people, not only me. I know Tombury, like, I keep coming back to him, but like, that guy is so talented. He cares a lot. Like, I've never seen someone put so much time into making legends, caring about how their set looks and stuff like that. So I think Tombury is really up there. And at the same time, a lot of people are making a living out of key sets. I don't know if the people doing it are public with it, so I'm not gonna say any names, but there are people who actually make a living off of key sets. And of course you're gonna see them pop up with a lot of interest checks. Of course you're gonna see them run a lot of GMK sets or sets of any profile. So I think money is the main reason we're seeing this. People are realizing how much money there is in it. Of course, the vendors are making their share too, which is great. Like, all the power to the vendors. Like, they've had it rough, like, for a long time. And if there's anything we can do to help the vendors, I think that's great. Like,
Yeah, that's the other thing of why I think it's been picking up so much is the fact of how many vendors there are. We've got 6 or 7 vendors that are running key sets every month. Plus with like Kono, where they take multiple, like they're running 3 or 4 this month. And so it's definitely interesting to see.
Well, yeah, and each vendor offers their own thing, like, we're seeing, like, in the US, like, EU has always had Candy Keys, My Keyboard, and that's it. Asia used to only have Z Frontier, and it came to the point where they had so many group buys that they couldn't really, like, handle it. Like, they were so busy, they couldn't ship stuff out. Like, people had Phantom for months and months before, like, the people who ordered from Z Frontier got the. I don't even know today if they have Phantom. So I'm glad to see more vendors popping up there. I know there's even a Japanese one now. We have Lewis, Lewis. Well, I think is his name. Yeah, that's great. And in the US, as I said, like, the different vendors, there are a lot now. Like, we have Project Keyboards, Novel Keys, TKC, Kono, Dixie, like, all these vendors. Of course, Canon Keys as well. All these vendors, and I still think they offer something unique, like, to the experience. We have Krellbit, like, he put so much effort into making the complete package. I think he invested a lot of his own money in Alter and making sleeves and stuff like that, like really going in. We have stuff like Dixie doing the hype in the Discord with the usernames for the giveaway, like of a set each month.
Yeah, someone mentioned it earlier. Dixie is just he is a
Genius,
master
man.
of promoting
Yeah,
his sets. He gets the domain names. Like
yeah.
that's the most impressive. It's like it's domain names aren't that expensive, but he takes the time to get
He's
that
thinking
set.
about it, like how can we improve this? Like he's making a lot of moves right now, and I think it's really clever. He has an eye for the market, you know. And not to be like, I have to shout out every vendor doing their own thing right now.
Mhm.
It's great to see. I forgot the original question.
No, you're good. You're good. This is it. Doesn't have. We don't
Oh
necessarily.
yeah.
We can kind of trail a little bit. It's good. We're good.
I remember
We're just hanging out.
what I wanted to say. Like, actually, I think this month is the breaking point. So
Mhm.
I started talking about the funny thing is that Nines was the start of it, and Firefly, I think last month was the last month where everything made it. And I think so the start and end I was part of. I think now we're seeing the downfall. I think now we're seeing the bubble burst. Like the market, of course, can't support like 15s, and it's only been increasing. Like, okay, fine, if it's like, okay, 7 GMK sets every month, okay, fine, somehow we'll manage, but it's just been increasing and increasing. So I think like the bubble this month is gonna burst. Like, I was looking at sales numbers and just comparing it to last month, man, it's not looking good, you know.
It's not even close. And my thought too is how much of this is people looking forward to, like looking forward to next month and knowing that Olivia's running, knowing that Nautilus Nightmare, a set that's been hyped for a year,
Yeah.
as well. Like, there's some really good sets running next month, and it's how
don't
much
know,
are people waiting for that?
You know, I think there's like some strategy involved. I'm not really doing that thing. You know, when I chose October for Firefly, it looked empty. I was like, okay, damn, okay, October, that's the month. And then just like as time went on, set after set was scheduled for October. I'm like, damn, dude, okay, fine. I'm gonna do my own thing. I know it's a niche set. But let's keep rocking. And then like a day before the group buy, I'm like, okay, shit, Dracula is in October. and people were telling me, man, just pick another month, man. It's not worth it. Like, you're gonna get destroyed, butchered, man. You're not gonna make it. I'm like, nah, man. I'm not gonna sit here and reschedule according to what other people are doing. If you like what I'm doing, then get it. If you don't, then it wasn't meant to be. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and reschedule based on what other people are doing. I'm gonna do my own thing, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Fortunately, I've been blessed, and everything I've made so far has went great. You know, but yeah. I was definitely like, I was talking to Jeff Langelandia, like when Dracula dropped, I popped into his Discord. I'm like, damn, bro. He's like, damn. Like, he's a great guy. Shout out to Langelandia, man. Love that guy.
We had him a few weeks ago, and he's such
Oh
a
hell
fun
yeah,
dude.
he's such a well-spoken person, man. I really wish I had his ability to articulate what I want to say. You know, convey feelings the way he does. He's really a professional. I think he mentioned like he does that for a living, and it really shows, man.
Yeah, he's a
Like
trainer.
I watched several interviews you had, and everyone's been doing great. But when his interview dropped, I'm like, damn, I'm so captivated by this. I'm just like, you know,
It
just
definitely
kept.
is a start to finish watch.
Yeah, exactly. And man, I love. Shout out to Langlandia again, man.
Yeah. As well as 159 for the 420 bits. Thank you, Tyson Builds, 69 bits. Check out Project Keyboards and check out Tyson as well. Good friend of the.
Absolutely. So Nines is running again this month.
Oh yeah.
How did that happen? Like, was that something that they brought up to you as an opportunity, or was it just kind of like, here it is, we're doing it?
Oh yeah, I saw your episode on that actually. The what did you call it?
The round twos.
Lightning round, yeah.
Lightning rounds.
Yeah, lightning rounds. Basically, I'm not part of Nines round two. Actually, I have
Really?
nothing to do with that. Basically, what happened was that Nines dropped, and as we mentioned, talking about Nines, like a lot of people realized, like, damn, it's a good set. I want this, you know. But so Kono actually approached me, like they sold out their extras quick, you know. So they're like, "Hey man, let's do a round two." I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm not interested. Like, I wanna like because when you run a group buy, you tie up a group buy spot on Geekhack, and there's a rule. You can only run two simultaneous group buys.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, man, I rather put my attention and focus on making something new. Like, I have so many ideas. I rather push those out than just do a rerun of Nines. Like, sure, I like the way Nines is, and I want everyone that wants Nines to be able to have it, but I'm not willing to like tie up a group buy spot for like half a year or more just waiting for a round two. I rather put those towards new ideas, like new thinking. So basically, what ended up happening was they're like, "No, man, we really want to do this," and basically, uh, they were saying like, "Oh man, but you don't have to put any attention to it. We're gonna do it. Like, you don't have to worry about it." I'm like, "No, I don't want to." And then they're like, "Okay, man, we'll just can we buy it off of you?" And I'm like, well, and then I started thinking like, okay, well, what does that mean? I've never heard of any sets being bought off of anyone. First of all, like, I still credit Tombury for Nines more than me, the design wise. Like, is it really for me to sell? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking like, man, I don't know what to do. So I was thinking like, what should I do? Is like, I was really lost. Like, well, can I sell this? So basically, what ended up happening was that I gave it to them with the like my reasoning was, well, I like Kono.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown me a lot of support. Uh, if they want to do this, by all means, go. Like, I get no share in anything. Like, it's theirs now. Like, I don't own Nines. I'm like, here, take it. If you really want to run it that bad, like, more power to you. It will allow people to get Nines. Like, there's not even any risk involved. I think they are planning on just ordering it and stocking it, which is great. Like, we need more in stock GMK sets as well.
Yep.
Like, not only white on black. I think Candy Keys also has white on black for the ISO users. So I'm like, well, no risk involved for me. It will allow more people to enjoy Nines. I don't have to stress out about it. Like, I can focus on do my thing, focus on my other projects. Like, okay, well, works out fine. And then you brought up a lot of good points. Like, well, at what cost should we do these lightning rounds? I think Nines is a bit different because it doesn't really rely on immediate purchases. Like, you don't have to get it that month. Like, it's a pre-order. Like, you can it's gonna be up for you to get whenever you have the funds, you know. I don't
Right.
think it steals away capital from any other running set, you know. So I think Nines is a bit different from DMG in that regard.
Yeah, because DMG was a true round two.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah,
this is it. This is happening. You have 2
yeah.
weeks, and then that's it.
Oh yeah, good question in the chat. What is the idea behind the name? Basically, as you mentioned in the start, it was called N9U9, which is basically the color codes for the stock colors that Nines uses. So if I show it here, this is this base color is U9 and this gray is N9. So basically, I've always been bad with names. So I just called it that in the IC, like here. And then I think it was Jade that coined nines. I was like, well, it makes sense, U9 and 9. Okay, well, nines it is, And actually, I don't have it right here, but I think Osiris has it on his board. I saw the
artisan, not artisan, but novelty.
the novelty key, the IX. A fun story. I don't know if you were around, but basically, well, it's not funny in that sense, but
I'm still upset about this.
About what?
The Rama. Is that what you're talking about? The Rama.
Oh yeah, that's another interesting thing. But basically, when we were designing that, I think it was Bush that just drew that up. Basically, people were asking for a Rama key. I'm like, damn man, I hate artisans. Like, I don't want to run an artisan, But so many people were asking for it, and Bush actually made that design. I think he just drew it up in paint, like it didn't look exactly like that. But I was like, okay, well, it looks minimalistic. Like, okay, I can get behind that. And basically, the Rama artisan didn't happen. I've had a lot of people ask me, like, man, what happened? And I can't, like, even to this day, if I'm truly honest, I still don't know why it didn't happen. Like, I can't answer you. I don't know. If it was up to me, it would have been ran with Rama. Luckily, we sold over 500 base kits. We were able to make the design a novelty. So people at least got that, but not the Rama key, which is a shame, like, people keep asking me about that. Like, what happened with Rama? What happened? If I'm being honest, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like it was a.
If I did know, I wouldn't probably be allowed to tell you. Anyway, but I honestly don't know. If I'm being completely honest, I have no idea. Like, it wasn't up to me, and it just didn't work out, which is fine. We hit up Salvan. We did a different artisan key. I was a bit skeptical because I didn't even want to do an artisan to begin with, but then that opportunity arose, and the key looked great in person. Like, I wasn't really hyped for it. I'm still not gonna use it, but it looked better than I assumed.
Commander Bear, there is no Rama drama. It just didn't happen. It wasn't like a.
Yeah, there was no big problem or no.
Yeah. I have
right
no
now, Rama and Emir hate
animosity.
each other.
No. I have nothing against Rama at all. Like, I don't dislike them or anything. It just didn't happen.
Just didn't pan out. Sometimes
it's all I can
happen.
say. I don't know. I wish I knew. I'm asking myself what happened. But yeah.
So let's switch gears just a smidge into Firefly. We've talked a lot about nines. Firefly was a very interesting set that came out along with, it was, there were a lot of, every key set gets immediately compared to something else. And it was compared to Dracula, and it was compared to GMK Nord, which are a lot of these sets that kind of have the Oblivion, where it's different colors during different mods. So I guess tell us about how you went about designing Firefly and that whole process, because there was a lot of kit changes and a lot of things that happened with Firefly.
Oh yeah. Well, I will tell you the ups and downs. Basically, first of all, I would like to say that I think that GMK sets, they go in what you would call, like, what's in fashion right now. Yeah. I think trending. A lot of what's trending right now. And I think for a while, probably still is, like, it went from having very, like, abstract sets, like we had something really with a lot of contrast, looking at something like Laser sold a shitload, and then we saw similar sets dropping like that, and then we were into the muted, like, territory. Like, everything was going to be muted, darker colors, two tones, like just a uniform background color, stuff like that. But basically, I wasn't inspired by any of those sets. Basically, I did most of Firefly was actually done around the same time I was working on Nines, and it was fine tuned together with Max Surfy. Actually, the legends weren't the same peach color. They were. I was experimenting with a different. Like I was trying out different legends and stuff like that, using some basic color theory to see what I believe would work great. And I had Max Surfy render it out, and we're like, no, this is not it. And then a different color and a different one, and basically we came to the final design together. So I started it and finished it together with Max Surfy, which is why I mentioned that he has a great eye for design. Like he will understand what you're trying to convey and help you achieve that. So big shout outs to Max Surfy again. But yeah, it is very niche, I would say. Like as you mentioned, like you really wanted the accent key, which is the more traditional style of accenting. Basically inspired by Cytex, the other IC GMK Cytex, the other interest check I ran, where it has the F1 through F8 in a, I don't know if you should call it accent highlight. Like it has a different legend color compared to everything else, but the base color is the same. And I really like that concept. So I was looking down at my keyboard and I was like, okay, well, what can I do here that's a bit different, And I tried out a lot of things, both alphas, both the numerics, mods. Like I was really experimenting. And then I came to basically the final design where the tab and caps, as well as the two keys to the right of the spacebar, are accented in this way. And it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, and you included, obviously. But to me, it made perfect sense. Basically, I coined this. Now, I mentioned this when people asked me. I said, "Well, it's asymmetrical symmetry," and people are like, "What the fuck is that?"
Well, that makes no sense.
Asymmetrical symmetry. What
It's
are
a
you
curved straight line, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that means.
But it makes perfect sense, and it has a balance. And then as for the colors, it's like most people didn't even notice that those are accented. Like most people, like you had to point it out to them, and they're like, well, "Damn, well, wait, what? I don't like this," But they didn't even notice it, and that was exactly what I was going for. I wanted to have a slight change in hue compared to the normal mod color, which would spice it up a bit, like bring some character into it. I like when you keep it, if you would say, classy, sophisticated, or whatever. I like to use those terms. And to me, it just looks like a really clever way to add some touch of character into the whole key set, like breathe some life into it. So I was really behind it, but no one else was. No one else was. So running the IC, people kept asking, like, man, like we don't like that, and we want normal accents, over and over and over. So I was debating, like, well, do I just run it the way I want it, the way I intended for it to be, or do I add a kit for it, which became the accent kit? Basically, it's not an accent kit; it de-accents the base kit, which had, well, forced accents, if you will.
That's awesome. I didn't know that was the reason of the name.
Yeah, so basically it removes those accents and gives you the opportunity to accent it like in a more classic, traditional way. And I was going to be stubborn about it and be like, no, this is what I want it to be, and you're all going to be forced into it. But I realized, like, it's not really, as we were talking about, it's a subjective hobby. It's not for me to decide how you want your board to look, and if you really want this, like I will offer it. But I still consider Firefly a failure, even though it sold over 500 with extras, because 70% of the purchases also had a de-accent kit bought
Really?
together with it. So everyone who, like 70% of people who bought base also bought the accent kit, which is like, it's like a stamp of failure to me. Like if I don't count extras and if I remove those, then it didn't make MOQ by far. Like it's not even close. If I just detract the accent purchases of the base kit number, like it's not even close to making it. So for me, Firefly is a failure in that sense, which is like kind of narrow-minded to think, but like
It's a very
that's the way
interesting
I
take,
look at
though.
it.
That's like a very unique way to look at it when you're thinking of it, because it's like, all right, you design the base kit and that is the kit, right? Like that is what you want to do well. But you obviously with the accent kit the way it was to you, it's like that's not the set I wanted it to be. Is I guess was what you're getting at. Like with the accent kit, it's not what I
Yeah.
intended.
Yeah, basically, I was trying to do something new, breathe some life into what we were seeing. As you mentioned, we saw like a lot of sets came out, and people just kept comparing them, like, oh, well, this looks like this, and this looks like this, and this looks like this. So I came up with this, and I spent a lot of time, and I was like, okay, I really like this. I'm gonna see what happens, and it didn't hit a home run, you know. But still, there are those brave 30%ers, people who bought the base kit who share my vision on it. And well, shout out to those 30% that, and you know, no disrespect to everyone who got the accent kit, you know, because if that's the way you want your board to look, then like by all means, I offered it for a reason. Like some people say it was more like a failsafe, like, well, if it tags, then at least people could buy this into it to make it like worthwhile for them. But that's not the way I see it. Like I still like stand behind it. Like if you want to use the accent kit, I think that looks great too. Because at first I didn't even have the accent keys in it, like the peach base color. I just had the actual accents, you know, so it looks normal without any accents at all. But listening to feedback, which is like, I think we're seeing less and less of that. I think the Olivia thread running right now is a perfect example where you're not even open to any feedback. Like you have already decided what you want to do, and basically it's a hype check. It's not on like interest check, and you don't really look for feedback. And I've heard many designers speak on this. Where like, okay, not many. That would be. But I know some people can actually be really annoyed getting feedback. Like what? I don't like. Oh damn! Someone really. Shout outs to Functional.
Yeah, shout out to Functional, 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much.
Subs. Which, yeah, huge shout out, because we'll be here in a little bit, here in the next 30 minutes. We will be giving out a set of GMK 9s. As you can see, they're prominently displayed behind Emir. You'll be getting at least one of those. I don't know how many he's going to ship to you. He could ship all 9. Who knows? But subs will get 2 entries as opposed to 1. But thank you. We're on our way to 100 subs again.
Yeah, we are.
Let's get our way back up to 100 subs. We're trying to hit 1,000 followers as well. We are 304 away from that. Let's get it.
I hope
You
everyone.
want to know my secret?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
They're all empty except the top one that I'm giving away. I really messed up with that, you know. Sorry, were you trying? Were you
I was just gonna ask if everyone if they can hear the horn. I think they can. I'm seeing some horns in the chat. Our sub sound is the air horn. So
I used to.
yeah.
I don't.
I was
do
sad
it as much
when
anymore,
you stopped
but...
doing it manually, man. It had that.
There it is, the little.
There we go. I love that personal, like you actually take your time to hype it up and just not leave it to automation. You know, it's more.
Been meaning to get the hype button going.
Yeah, so they actually make on Amazon. You can buy a little like red button that is an air horn sound, and it says hype on it. So we need to get that. We need to get the hype horn, as we call it. Maybe we can.
Thank you, Functional, and welcome to our new subs. Hit us up on Discord, by the way. You can enter the subs only chat. So,
Basically, I would just want to mention, like, for any designer out there buying 8 sets, I bought 8 sets of 9s. I was planning on using them myself, but then like friends started asking me, "Oh man, I missed out. Can you help me out?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." And someone gave away another sub.
Gift to the tier 1 sub.
Stash TV.
And one blue guy. Thank you, tier 1 sub.
Subs.
So basically, I gave away all 9s, and don't do that. You will regret it, because like at first I was like 1 or 2 people. I'm like, fine, yeah, I understand you missed out. Sure, I'll hook you up. You know, I have 8, and before I knew it, I only have 1 for myself left, and I'm like, what happened? And same with linear. I had over 1K linear switches, and everyone just kept asking me, and I kept selling them. I'm like, why do I do this? Like, if they want it, like, they should buy it when it's running. And, you know, I was stupid. Well, not stupid, but I didn't want to charge them more than I paid, which is less than group buy price. So, like, I think my friends are starting, like, use a strategy where they wait for the group buy to end and just buy it off of me for less than group buy price. So I'm not gonna. Don't do that. Like, don't. If your friends really,
Shoto's asking for 9s, by the way.
Yeah, Shoto wants a set.
If you really love my sets, I'm sorry to all my friends, but you're gonna buy it when the group buys. Like, I can't.
Friends pay full price.
I'm so sad, man. I sold off everything and I regret it hard. So basically, I've been scrambling to buy off any linear that I see on the aftermarket now, just to like recoup. Like, I sold off over 1,000 switches, man, and I want them.
Yeah, I haven't had I've messed around with those switches at meetups, but I haven't really messed around with them for an extended period of time. But I definitely need to. I need to figure out. I need to find some on Mech Market, pick them up, and mess around with them, because I'm getting into the more linear switches now. Now that I have my creams on my Sirius, I'm starting to feel the linear switches pulling me towards having more.
Pulling you towards the dark side.
Yeah.
You should try that. Wait a second, I'll show you. You should try this Franken switch, actually.
We like Franken switches here.
Yeah, I know. I've been hearing about these Zykos, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of creams and linear, you should try this out.
What is that?
It's a cream stem in linear. Basically, I had the first batch of creams, and I lubed them up, and they were binding so hard. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but putting grease in creams, I don't know if that's still the case. But my batch, I had this leathery feeling, like after I lubed them, and they were binding hard. Like, it was horrible. Like, people started saying don't put grease in creams. I think they've fixed that. I'm not sure. But basically, I had this batch of unusable creams, so I put them in. Like, I had 1K linear, so I was like, okay, well, let's try this, because they were smooth, you know, and so was linear, so it was like a match made in heaven. And then I noticed that it sounded really unique. It sounds just like a Holy Panda. And turns out that I think, well, it has to be like the cream stem. It's longer, like the pole is longer than usual. So it bottoms out, like if you like a rough, harsh bottom out, like you're a brass plate type of guy, then you should definitely try that out because it sounds really unique and interesting. It's probably the smoothest like MX switch I've tried, and not counting like contactless EC switches like the Varmilo one and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Super smooth, sounds really interesting, but it's harsh. Like if you're a harsh guy, you should try that out. And then I noticed if you put the silent stem into the empty cream housings I had, you have full travel with the silent stem, so that worked out well.
Interesting.
Basically, silent switches have a shorter,
Mhm.
like, what's it called again? I'm having a brain freeze. Yeah, travel. So it gives you full travel. So I know some of my friends used to put a single silent switch into the space bars to, like, if you have a 7U space bar, they can sound really funky at times. So
Mhm.
try that out if you want. Put a silent switch in a cream housing. Interesting.
I'll have to give it a shot. I'll have to buy some Linyars from you since
Since you have some.
I'm not like, you know, this is how desperate I am. I have people messaging me, yeah, man, I have 12 switches. I'm like, ship it. I'm taking everything. So yeah, definitely regret that.
Yeah. I mean, that was a buy that got started. When did Linear buy start? It was like very early this year or late last year. I can't remember.
I know it was very early this year. I
Mhm.
think. Oh man, I'm not sure now that you mention it. Funny story. I think people credit me for ruining the Gatron custom switch, like recolored switch market, because they stopped doing it after Linear, because Linear was a non-profit group buy. No one made a dime, not us, and the intention was that the vendors weren't going to make anything either. They were going to cover their logistic costs, like, well, it costs this much to pack, like the material and stuff like that, and that would be covered, but they were doing it for free, basically. And shout out to Novel Keys, My Keyboard, and the KBD fans for doing that, with the intention of doing it for free. It ended up, because of the amount we sold, like we budgeted it with 20. It had a 20K MOQ, so we budgeted the switch price at 20K. So basically, it was as low as it could have been price-wise. And just to be transparent, like I think it was my first group buy thread or IC at all. So I made some rookie mistakes. So just to be transparent, I actually wrote out the quotes from Gatron. Like, okay, this is the quote from Gatron, just so everyone can see that we're not making any money here. Oh, big mistake, man. Big mistake. They weren't happy about that, man. So don't share quotes, guys. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
But basically, people started saying that it was because I revealed the prices that Gatron doesn't want to do recolors anymore. But that's not the case at all. They basically, at the time, didn't have time for it. They've started doing it again now, but like it had nothing to do with me, contrary to popular belief. But yeah, I do agree. I really messed that up. And just I had David from My Keyboard help me out and do all the communication with Gatron. From that point on, I just didn't want to mess anything up,
Absolutely. It was I feel like a lot of people don't even know that it existed at this point. Like, with how big the community's gotten in the last 10, 11 months since the Switch was initially released, I think there's a lot of people who just don't even know. They might have heard of it or they might have seen pictures of it, but they don't really know what all went into it. That it was a community-driven thing and it was done by Swedish people for Sweden, more or less.
Oh yeah.
So it was
basically
cool.
Yeah, we were thinking of only doing it among ourselves, just keep it to the Swedish Discord. We were gonna buy up to MOQ ourselves, because at the time the MOQ was 8K switches. We were like, yeah, hell yeah, like the Swedish community is really big. Like, I think well, I can check. I think we're well over 1,000 people in total. We have about 300 people online right now. So we were like, yeah, sure, we're just gonna buy out all the 8K. But then they changed it to 20K, and we were like, no, we're not so sure anymore. You know?
That's a lot. That's
so
a big jump.
Yeah, so we opened it up to the public, and it sold just short of 100K. I think 97K switches, which is insane. And just imagining that every vendor went into that, like, with the thought process of, we're not going to make any money from this, we're just doing it for the community, you know. So big shout out again to every vendor that was willing to do that, because it takes a lot of time to sort 100K switches, let me tell you. But yeah, they ended up making some money because it just flew past the MOQ that we budgeted for, which is great. I'm really happy that they got something back for all of their work and their willingness of doing it for free. So yeah, it was a great buy. I agree. It's a shame that not enough people know about it. And as I mentioned, I still believe in the rumors that something is different about them with the nylon composition, where it has some sort of powder in it that other Gateron offerings do not have. I did actually ask Gateron about it, and they said something like it was lost in translation. Basically, we found out that it was reacting to UV light, like it was self-glowing, which other nylon 66 offerings weren't. So we were like, wait, what's this, you know?
Hmm.
So they gave me some reply. It was lost in translation. Like, they only speak Chinese, so you have
Right.
to Google Translate everything. So I think something is special about them. If you can try them out, you definitely should. Really underrated, cheap switch. It was, at the time, it was probably the best bang for the buck switch you could buy, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was like,
Together
what,
with
$3.40?
Gateron Yellow, of course.
Yeah, it was like 40 cents or something like that. Less than
35
that.
cents.
35, yeah.
So, well, it is going to be about that time that we need to set up giveaway.
Can I enter?
Me?
So, why don't you pick the keyword, Emir? What do you
Icon
want to see
mods.
typed?
Icon mods.
Icon mods. All right.
Hell yeah.
So once again, subs will get double entries as a thank you. But if you are not a sub, that does not mean you cannot win. So just whenever we say go, I know Osiris is setting it up right now. We'll leave it open for about 5 to 8 minutes. Ask our last 2 questions, and then you will be receiving it sometime in the next week. We'll probably get all the info out, or probably Monday.
Yeah.
So
Let me I'm gonna set it up here where everyone can see it as well. So let me.
getting lots of icon mods in the chat.
Yeah, icon mods is the word.
Man, I'm screenshotting this. I'm making it a wallpaper, man.
All right, let me make it to where it's not the entire screen. Let's go down a little. Put it over here so everyone can see. All right. So yeah, we'll wait to roll it a little bit, but right now looks like we've got 41 people in. But yeah, use icon mods, all one word, all lowercase, to be entered to win. Subs do get double luck. You know what? I'm gonna turn it on for Metal Chuck. He can also get in on it. Mods as well.
As our one mod.
Yeah.
Blanks be a man. I love it. Yeah, Metal Chuck, make sure to enter, bud. And you are not excluded from winning other. Like if you win this giveaway, you have the opportunity. So we're not going to, unless your name's Kennick, we will not let. We will allow you to win as many as you can if luck is on your side. Except for Kennick, who has already won way too many giveaways. So, but yeah, we will. Do we pay shipping? You are okay. You are good. It will be shipped to you. You will not have to pay.
I'll throw in some Swedish chocolate with the package for you.
Oh, there you go.
Exclusive.
Let's see. Blind Assassin, you are in.
So, but yeah, let's ask our last two questions. The second one, I don't know how it'll be. Find out.
Since there is some questions about adding additional sub increases, I will take that out. So subs, it's just the same for everyone. But yes, the first question will be: what is your favorite and least favorite thing about the community?
Oh man, that's hard. The easy one is my favorite thing. I don't know, like if it's strictly the well, it's definitely not strictly the keyboard community, but I've come across so many people that I would consider like friends for life. You know, that type of friend, you know, that you can just reach out beyond keyboards, like they really care for you and you care for them. Like just having the opportunity to have a thing such as a keyboard just tie you guys together, allow you to meet. I think that's probably the number one thing that I like about this community. Like even though everyone has their own preference, like this is such a subjective hobby where everyone uh, basically disagrees about everything. Like you don't find two people who agree about just about everything. Like everyone has always their own thing that they're into, which no one else is. But yeah, like people who can look past that and see the person and not the opinions. Like I really respect that. And that also ties into the thing I dislike the most, like people who don't even like I understand if I speak for me personally, like I'm a very opinionated guy and regardless if it's in this hobby or not, like that will get you a lot of flack. Like people will be annoyed at one point. They will disagree. Um, and my opinions usually do not align with what everyone else is thinking. So I think people can't really look past that and see the person behind the opinions. I think that's my least favorite thing.
Interesting.
I would say.
So the last one, sorry, don't really know if you'll have an answer for this, but do you prefer The Office or Parks and Rec?
Oh, I haven't watched either. I haven't watched either, but I do
Yes.
actually watch a lot of shows. Can I just tell you my favorite show? Maybe?
Sure.
Absolutely.
My favorite show, and I want everyone to go and watch this if you haven't. Like the first 2 seasons of Hannibal, definitely a number one show of all time. Go watch that. I haven't had a single person that I convinced to watch that come back and tell me like I didn't like the show. You know, everyone has loved it. So only the first two, like the third, pretend that it doesn't even exist. You know, it's something completely different.
159 Emir confirmed a serial killer.
Man, it's such a well-written show. It's so thought out, man. Give it a chance if you like mystery, thriller, Hannibal type of stuff. You know.
So,
Absolutely.
but yeah. So yeah, my bad. Didn't know about the subscriber
Yeah.
like that. Whoops. Anyway, don't want to commit crimes on
Yeah.
on stream, but we have since moved the
No extra luck.
no extra luck. Subs are still appreciated, but now I am curious if you do can you do an only sub giveaway?
I think I don't know. So I don't
I don't
know.
know if Tyson says no. Nope.
I think
No.
because in America you can't do giveaways that require purchase, and they see the subscription as somewhat of a purchase. I guess technically you could do donation only giveaways, where you have to donate to get in. But yes, you can.
Well, at that point, it would be a raffle, I guess, if you did a donation.
Yeah, or you could just call it a sub only raffle.
Yeah.
It's I mean, there's different ways to loophole. Or like 159, so you can just put it in sub only
sub
chat.
only chat.
But yes, but no, can't do. If you're gonna open it to everyone, it has to be even. Everyone, and if you're in here, we've got a couple more minutes. We're gonna roll it right at 3 p.m. Central Time, so in 3 minutes, we've got 66 eligible users. So if you're here, use icon mods, all lowercase, no spaces, and you will be entered to win a set of GMK9s.
Love it, man.
And then just respond on here, and then if you can, contact one of us via Discord, and we will try and get you set up. We'll probably deal with most of the logistics after the stream ends tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and I do not have spam on, so if you type it like 17 times, you will still be eligible to win. So don't worry about spam. Sub only stream, no. Is that your cat?
Well, it's my dog, man.
It's your dog?
It's so famous. It's like the unofficial official mascot of the Swedish Discord. Hey,
your
Vicky!
Pomeranian.
Vicky! No, he's dead.
gifting 5 tier 1 subs, metal check. Thank you guys. Welcome. Definitely appreciate it. So
Yeah, that's a cute dog. I've seen some of the pictures of
He's not having it right now, man. He's 11 years old. He's old, like no energy.
He's just chilling,
sleeping around. Yeah, it's my type of dog, you know. Like just being lazy, just like myself. We go.
Next up, we do have our KBD 8X build. Got some unboxings as well that we'll do. But Emir, I can say thank you very, very much for coming by, especially with your generosity of GMK9's giveaway. Definitely appreciate that. I'm glad we were able to have you on. Obviously, time zones can be constraining. So
yeah, man, great.
Had this idea, I was like, oh, gotta hit up Emir. So
yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was really fun. And as I told them like before the stream started, I was like really nervous going into this, but I think I didn't shut up. I just kept talking a bit too much, but it was fun. You're great guys. You know, I really enjoyed the show. I'm definitely gonna stick around for as much as I can for the 24-hour stream. But yeah, it's getting late, so thank you so much for making this.
Well, when you wake up, we'll be here.
Yeah, in the morning, we're good.
Yeah, great.
But yeah, no, we really appreciate it. I can speak for myself, Chewy as well. Nines is one of our favorite sets. Plus, we both love Firefly, and
thank you.
I know, and everything you do, the community-driven stuff, the other things you do, it's awesome. I'm excited to see what's next for you in your design journey.
And check out Yugo.
Go pick it up on Conan.
Check out Yugo.
So let's get this.
So much,
let's get this rolling.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and just the last couple seconds to enter. Use icon mods, no spaces, all lowercase, and then we will roll it here in just a second.
5, 4, 3. I'm putting my hand over here because that's where my camera usually. 2, 1. Who's gonna win?
Mike Clicks.
Mike Clicks.
You have won the giveaway.
Clicks.
Type in chat. Let us know you're here and that you're.
Tag us.
Admit to liking icon mods, or I won't send this to you. I'm just
yeah, in order to accept it, you must say that icon mods are the best thing in the world.
Mike Clicks says wahoo or woohoo. Mike Clicks, join our Discord.
And just like that, I started an icon mod called not realizing.
Oh man.
Join our Discord, hit us up. Congratulations. The first of many giveaways. Mike Clicks. So thank you, Emir, again.
Yeah,
we're going to take
a
quick couple-minute break to get rearranged, and we will be right back with we're going to be giving away 3 different sets of loot throughout the next stream, or the next segment of the stream.
Yeah, so we'll see y'all real soon.
I'm gonna keep waiting.